And when it's in that realm of using their strategy correctly, strategy authority, so it's not like a frustration from ignoring their sacral response, but just part of this
Right.
learning thing, it's going to be natural and they can be frustrated. You don't have to fix it. Now, when it comes to the manifesting generator having that anger piece, again, don't take it personally. Human design reveals who you are energetically and who you came here to be. I'm Dana, human design specialist.
And I'm Haley, the human design newbie. Listen in as we explore how leaning into your authentic self is your ultimate path to success. Welcome to the Human Design High podcast. Let's get into it.
How you doing, Haley?
Good. Cold.
You're
I got a
cold.
piece of ice.
Oh, I was gonna say, it could be cold. It is cold where you are. Not here. Beautiful. Yes. 74. We'll give the weather report. Traffic is up in 2. Your drive time at 5. That's all right. I told you earlier that I talked to your Aunt Nancy, my sister, earlier, and we kind of did a little catching up, but then we started talking about what we were watching on the streaming, and and I laughed because it took over the large part of our conversation, making recommendations and stuff. And then I just laughed because we have a joke that when our dad calls us, I mean, we can get maybe like 2 or 3 minutes of conversation, always devolves into the weather. What's happening with the weather? And I was like, our conversations always turn into, what are you watching? Which I'm always looking for good things to watch. So anybody out there listening has some good recommendations. Especially love those British dramas, British TV dramas. No. Love a good
They're just so much more interesting, even though they could be like the same concept as an American show. It's just the fact that it's like British and the accents. It's like
even Nancy, Nancy, my sister, she said the same thing. She's like, I love them too. And I said, I love seeing where they live, their houses, cottages, apartments.
They're always so pretty.
I know. And which I'm watching it's older, but it's called Last Tango in Halifax. And the one character lives in this old like farm cottage. Oh my God. I love that little cottage. It just looks so cozy. Fire's always going, and there, every scene is like, I'll put on some tea.
I know. Always having tea.
We'll have some tea. And I was just like, it always sounds so great. And then I love and then also, okay, so I like seeing where they live. I also find that they have much more normal looking actors and actresses. American Hollywood standards, whatever. Everybody's like, the women are all way too young for the leading men a lot of times. They're sometimes these let's say unattainable body types, and I don't know, I just feel like they're more normal looking like everybody else. The accents are great too, for sure. But
no, I know you have like or you brought up the point, and I don't know if I've noticed on British TV shows now, but like, and maybe it's because when we went to Scotland and you were watching TV, you made the comments that they don't have like laugh tracks or things like that, like US shows. So I'm like,
some of them do. Yeah,
shows now do.
It wasn't so much the laugh track; it's the constant music as well in the background with American TV and when I say American, I mean things that are produced. Everything I watch now is streaming. I don't know, but especially in movies, Hollywood movies, music is very manipulative in the sense of telling you how you're supposed to be feeling the whole time. And I hate it because now, things we watch at home, we've got a nice setup at home. We've got a nice sound system and everything. The music is so loud, I can't hear the dialogue. And then I'm like, okay, I am not 84. Okay. So I should be able to hear this and make sense of it. But a lot of times I can't. And there's a lot quieter, less gratuitous use of music.
So on
What?
the fact of dialogue being so quiet,
Mm-hmm.
I started with the new season of Shadow and Bone last night,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I had to have it turned up so loudly, and I had to turn on subtitles. And I was like, because I just watched the first season, like literally I'd watched the last episode,
Mm-hmm.
literally right before it, same day, same sitting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, is this season the dialogue so much quieter, or is it the third glass of wine?
Third glass of wine,
I
Haley.
was finishing the bottle.
Oh yeah.
It
Well,
had been
that
open
doesn't
for a
make it
while.
sound better.
No, it doesn't. No, it was already, it had been open for a few days, so
I'm sure it has.
it was
She
like a
doesn't
small
drink a whole
glass.
lot. Yeah.
No.
I was
As I
just
hold
finishing
this.
the bottle. Of course. Yeah, no, it's true. It makes you feel like there's something wrong with me. I cannot hear this. But which I heard that that new season or whatever the new show, not season, that Game of Thrones spinoff, whatever that House of Dragon was it House of Dragons? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Hmm.
Everybody said you couldn't see it, and you couldn't hear it either because it was so dark. I was like, is this what we've gone to? We just
I know.
pay
Did you
money to
guys?
like guess what's going on the
I
screen?
know. I know. Some of them are so dark. It's like, wait, are we filming by candlelight?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. So there we go. That's what we're watching. Sort of.
So
I
we've
don't know.
covered weather and streaming. So anything else in our family that we talk
Maybe we should
about?
get on with it. Maybe we should talk about what people came here to listen about. Listen about?
Maybe
Listen to? I don't
learn
know.
about.
Contemplate? So, okay, so we're going to continue today in a little series we're playing with, and we've been talking about how to care for and support certain energy types, meaning not just
Mhm.
certain ones. We're only going to talk about meaning. We're going to talk about all of them. But the point was to the first one we did, manifestors,
Mhm.
how to care for and support not only manifestors in your life, but also if you are a manifester, the things that you require. So go back and have a listen if that interests you.
Not only if you're like, also if you are a
Right. That's what I
manifester is
thought.
what you were getting into.
Right. And so we wanted to, for the most part, break them up by type so that it wouldn't be a 3 hour long episode, make it a little bit
Mhm.
easier to digest. And
Yes.
as we discussed, we're gonna do the sacral types today, generator types. And so that is also going to include the manifesting generator because
Mhm.
for the most part, all that stuff works essentially the same for the generator types. For the things that we're going to talk about, well, we will definitely modify it for the manifesting generator, but I'm pretty sure, you know, if you've been listening to all these episodes, you might have an idea where the differences may lie. So, anyways, so we thought we'd just get into that. And so, first of all, kind of where we started before
Mhm.
was really what the type needs, like what some of the challenges are, right?
Mhm.
And so I think what we'll do is we'll talk about the generators in general first, and then we'll move on to that manifesting generator aspect, having that defined throat and how that plays into everything. So
Okay.
so some of the challenges, one of the biggest ones for generator types is their strategy, which is
Mhm.
what?
Wait to respond.
Right. Right. So generators are designed to respond to life in every moment. That's what they're here to do. They said, Ra would say, if a generator could just wake up every day, have no agenda, have no, to-do list or whatever, just see what shows up and respond. Well, certainly sounds great. But we all know that really not how modern world works. But
No.
we can try it out, little bits and pieces here and there, see what happens. I mean, sure, all of us have to well, we're gonna have to take the kids to school or go to work or any of those things
Mhm.
realistically, but we could try responding more. But what we do instead is we try to figure things out. We try to initiate things, right? And that
Mhm.
causes a lot of not self behavior, which is in the generator Do you know what that is? The not self theme, emotional theme generator? When they're not using their energy
Burnout.
properly? No, no, no.
Uh,
A behavior, a feeling, an
oh,
emotion.
oh, 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 frustration.
Yes, there you go. There you go. Yes, that's a lot of times what causes that frustration is not using their energy type and their strategy correctly by just responding and not initiating. And so generators, we have to wait. Well, that's what it says. Wait to respond. And it's not as long as some other types may have to wait, but it is a challenge to have this sacral energy available and know it's there, whether you're conscious of it or not. But,
Mm-hmm.
and especially what other parts of your chart are defined or undefined, say an open root center, maybe creating that pressure to initiate, do, get something moving. It's
Mm-hmm.
very hard to just wait and see what you're responding to, what you can respond to, because that has to be something outside of your own self, right? You're out of reality.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that's one issue. Well, kind of the big one in there. That's a challenge. As you said, burnout, even though that's not a not self behavior, that is certainly um, a risk generator, runs by, well, not responding, but
Mm-hmm.
initiating or responding against what their sacral tells them, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they
Mm-hmm.
have that gut feeling of no, but they do it anyhow, repeatedly for 30 years, maybe even 5 years, it can definitely lead to burnout for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, because of this, really, this dance with the quantum field that the generator types, the sacral types have of this, let's see what comes, let's see what happens, let's see what to respond to. It it generators are always trying to figure it out one step ahead. It's like we're designed to just step by step by step by step, but we always want to see the end result because we're always trying to figure out. But this, it's like the most like non-mental type, really. That's not true. I don't want to say that. So there is all this like energy, but can't figure it out. And honestly, we're all trying to figure things out, but generators are meant to create with their actual physical self and their
Mm-hmm.
body. They're not here to create with their minds. They can contemplate and they can imagine and they can intend and put it out in the universe, all that stuff, but their energy type is enveloping, their actual aura, I should say, is enveloping, it's attracting at all times. And so that is a big challenge to overcome, this need to try and mental your way, figure it out. It's definitely
It's challenging.
challenging to have this creative life force in you that's pulsing all the time, but not know how you're supposed to use it
Mm-hmm.
because it hasn't showed up yet. And that's something the generator's working with their whole life.
I
And
mean,
so
it makes sense. I said it makes sense because the sacral center is just such that consistent available energy, but then it's like you're
mm-hmm,
waiting
mm-hmm,
to use it on something. So it's like you always
mm-hmm,
have it. I feel like it's you always have it there and you always feel it, but it's like,
mm-hmm,
okay, what do I do with it? What do I do?
mm-hmm, yeah, it is. And so that being said, it's also because that energy is there, like you said, and it's always on and it's vibrating almost. It needs to be used. And therefore, another challenge that the generator sacral type has is they need to make sure they use that energy every day, like moving their body, which has become even more challenging in the day and age we're at now. You see Presley, he's always on calls, but now he's got a standing, not now, he does have a standing desk. He's kind of a move around fidgety guy, even though he's like at home working, but
Mm-hmm.
he needs to expend that energy, and generators too, or else they could have trouble sleeping at night if they don't actually use their bodies at some point during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's because they are designed to wear themselves out and then start again the next day. So with all that in mind, you know, how to care for and support the, first of all, just generator type. We're just going to go through this and then we'll add our little addendums there for our manifesting generator friends out
Wait,
there.
before we move on, what are the challenges and not selves for the manifesting generator?
You want to do that? Okay.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Because I feel like we should keep the sections with each, do each type in the section,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
I think I see what you're saying. Okay, okay. So with the manifesting generator, then, as you requested, has those same challenges, being a sacral type, having the, what sets them apart is their throat being defined by a motor, whether it's the sacral motor or another motor or both. There could be more than one motor connected to that throat. So that gives them, they do have that initiating energy. So I find it can be challenging because there is that energy that wants to be used and they can use it. They can get into action, right? But they have to make sure that they inform before they do that, right? So, but still, they are sacral type, means they have a sacral response, which means no matter how much they do want to initiate, they've got to make sure they are initiating in response to something that has shown up outside of themselves. Does that make sense? Right. And so they're a big challenge for the manifesting generators, patience. Right? Because they have even more that, like, let's go, let's go, let's go. I have this analogy that I think of like, for a manifesting generator is like they have this sports car, and it's like, well, you could put like a generator and a manifesting generator together at a red light. The generator's like the engine's running, but the light's red. And the generator's like, okay, I just wait till the light's red and then I'll go. Right?
So it's green.
Green. I'll wait until the light's green. Don't want any traffic accidents out there. And then I'll go. And the manifesting generator in their car, their speedy little car, is like foot on the gas, foot on the brake. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. They let that foot off the brake and they jump the light. There's all kinds of ramifications there. They need to not do that. They need to wait also. But then when they do get the green light, they can go fast. They can go faster. That's how I see it. So
I like that.
Anyways.
I like the analogy.
Well, thank you. So yeah, so they have the challenge there of patience. Oh, I should also say, I just kind of tuned it out, but if anybody hears some random like humming or kind of, engine noise in the background, my husband is using the power washer outside. I just kind of tuned it out. I'm so used to him just kind of doing things. But I tested it out before we got on.
I don't hear anything.
Okay, that's good. So just in case.
I did just hear you crack your knuckle, so
I didn't even crack my. I don't know what I did.
You did. No, you pulled your fingers.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so patience, right? Okay. That's one of the challenge. Another thing, a challenge for a manifesting generator is that their speed. Like I said, they can go fast, and it can be a challenge for them to get people to understand their speed, that they can move at a faster pace. They got, especially when they were younger or whatever, they might get told that they need to slow down, right? They've also been told that because they do have this like multitasking nature, that they might have been told to pick one thing or stick with it, or you never finish, XYZ, because that's just how they use their energy, is by being busy, really, and having lots of different things they're interested in. And so that's the challenge. That's a little bit different from the generator as well, because generators, as I said, they have that sacral energy, but they're more of a mastery over time, slow and steady, building their body of work, so to speak. They're always, I mean, you've got an example of your mother and your father. There's me, and there's your dad. Fast, well, I don't want to say normal. I think about it all the time. I definitely do not shift gears as fast as he does at all.
Oh gosh, no.
No.
I don't know anyone that does.
Yeah. So they're challenged with really just having that that quick, that initiating energy, skipping steps, things like that. I know we've talked about before with the manifesting
Mm-hmm.
generators. So those are the big ones. And then of course they can also run that risk of burnout if they are just always go, 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 go. If they're not paying attention to their sacral response and they're just feeling pressured to move, pressured to act, feeling they need to act on every idea that they get,
Mm-hmm.
every impulse that they get that maybe they haven't really checked out their sacral response. I've seen your dad say yes to lots of things before that he felt like he should do. But when I ask him, now I've gotten better at yes or no questions. He doesn't want to do them, but he feels he should. And that's a big thing for them to, because even more so within the generator, having that immense amount of energy and knowing they can get into action and they can do it quickly, it's even more tempting for them to be like, well, it's no big deal. I can
Mm-hmm.
just do it, right? Because they can do it fast.
Saw it. I saw the example last time I was down.
Oh my God. What do you mean?
The potato and oyster thing out at Coastal.
Oh, yeah, he could have done. Yeah, he was offered that and he could have done, but yeah. Well, I just think about how we had this conversation the other day that um it was a good, I was really getting to use my skills there on using the sacral response with him because
Mm-hmm.
he is always trying to do what seems like the right thing to do, the affordable thing to do, the should be, this is the most reasonable thing to do. But I had to, which involves his poor truck that's died, right? Um,
R.I.P. Tundra.
yeah. Yeah. Took it to another mechanic. He could get it fixed for $5,000 and then it might work, might not. It's got 250,000 miles on it, 250,000 miles over 265, I think. Yeah.
Damn, I didn't
It's
know it had that many miles
2007.
on it.
It's 2007. Anyways, threw metal shavings in the engine. It's a whole thing, right? And
It's
so
toast.
so we're deciding, do we, do that? And because it's a Toyota, there's lots of other good things on
Mm-hmm.
this truck. But then again, the mechanic couldn't guarantee necessarily that it wouldn't need more on top of that, cost you more. And the
Yeah.
truck's only worth about $9,000, $10,000.
Yeah.
And then, or, the guy also offered to buy it from us, right? So, your dad, he wanted to do like, I don't want to incur debt and getting a new one, and I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. But I'm like, finally, I just had to ask him, do you want to fix your truck? He's like, no. I was like, there you go. He's like, but I also don't want this, this, and this. And I'm like, but that's not the question I'm asking you right now. It's this one. Yes or no? And I said, I can't tell you
Step
how
by
many
step.
times, can't tell you how many times, right? That we like try to do the thing that we think should be the right thing to do, the responsible thing, mentaling it instead of feeling it, always comes back and bites us in the ass eventually, I think, or it costs you more money, more time,
Mm-hmm.
all those things. So for both types, sacral response is huge and honoring that
Mm-hmm.
is huge, right? So on that point, for caring for your generator, manifesting generator type, one thing,
Mm-hmm.
top of the list, asking them yes or no questions to really support that response and being honest with it. Now, there's a good chance that, like we are, Richard and I, we're both sacral types, right? So it's easier
Mm-hmm.
for us to maybe communicate. You might wish Presley might give you more information at times, but if you really want the answer, just yes or no, yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
Just be creative for the
It's
question.
hard. It's really hard for me to ask him yes or
Mhm.
no questions.
It's so hard for me to ask open-ended questions to you, I'm always like
When you brought that point up the other day when we were recording, I think, and I'm like, I'm noticing it now that he does tend to ask me yes or no questions more than
hmm
open-ended. I'm like, that doesn't
hmm
work for me.
well, when we get to the projector one, we'll make sure he listens to it. Well, and it is hard because for me, it doesn't feel natural to answer these open-ended questions. I need something to kind of hook on, to go on almost, to know
Mhm.
what I'm thinking and feeling about it, that yes or no. And it's crazy how true it is. I mean,
And then it's hard for me to make the yes or no questions where there is only one aspect that you're
Mm-hmm.
answering on. That
Mm-hmm.
was the real struggle.
Yeah, that was well, like I said, this conversation with your dad, it was like, I'm not asking you about the after this question. I just want to know, do you know what you want? Do you want to, because really I also had to ask him, do you want a new truck? And yeah, he wants a new truck, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, well, then yeah, you want a truck. So be okay with that. It'll work out. I can't tell you how, but I just know it will. It's okay. So that's the best thing. That goes for generators and manifesting generators. Making sure you get in the habit of asking them yes or no questions. Doesn't mean you can't ever ask them a what they're thinking question. But it is good to ask them before that, is to say, do you know how you feel about this? Or do you, okay, no, you get the answer of like, I could have said to your dad, do you want to fix your truck? And he'd say, no. And I'd say, well, do you know why you don't want to fix your truck? And he would maybe say yes. And then I say, could you tell me? And then he could say, yeah. And then he could tell me. Does that
Hmm.
make sense? It just,
Yeah.
it can happen that way. Makes a little bit communication a little easier.
Hmm.
So, all right. So I'm just going to, some of these are a little different. Let me see. I think the things that apply to just sacral types, like we just talked about, yes or no, that's true.
Hmm.
And then something else. Okay, this is a good one that applies to both of them, because I don't want to keep going back and forth. I kind of want to just,
Hmm.
well, both, these are the similarities.
They both have it, and then yeah, that's good.
Okay, so
Good,
the
good
yes or
course.
no. So, okay, so then also this not self theme. Okay, so for the generator type is frustration. And then
Hmm.
for the manifester is frustration, your anger, let's say,
Hmm.
because, it has both. It's a good idea to not take it personally, this frustration, trying to fix it. That's a that's a big one. You're just going to get frustrated. I feel this more than I think your dad does too, but he just keeps moving on. He'll just do a different project, whatever. But the whole being frustrated is just a part of things. Sometimes it just needs to be
Hmm.
there, because it's part of a generator's learning process, the stair step learning process.
Hmm.
Now, the straight generator, not straight, but just not a manifesting generator.
The plain one.
Pure generator. I don't know. All the
Pure.
words
Oh,
that
that's
sound
the
like
word.
it, it's like, I mean, they'll use that. They'll say pure generator, which is a generator with sacral response and no other authority. But anyways, this is part of the generator's stair step learning curve, where they will learn something, gain mastery of something, and they kind of hit this roadblock, this frustration point. And
Hmm.
no matter how hard they try and how much they push, they just can't get past it, right? It can get very frustrating. You're like, why isn't this working? I'm
Hmm.
not getting any better. I've been doing this for so long. Why? And what I like to encourage generators to think about now is that this is a good point to be, because that means you're getting ready to have this surge in mastery. You're going to make like a
Hmm.
big jump. You'll just, next time you come back around, so just take some time off, go do something else, think about something else. And then when you approach it again, if it's something you want to keep learning, keep mastering, keep working at, whatever, you're going to find that when you come back to it, there's going to be this like, whoa, I suddenly am just better. I can just do more. I understand this more now, right? It's like, okay, I
Hmm.
get it. And so, or it could just be timing of things or whatever, but there is going to be this frustration. And when it's in that realm of using their strategy correctly, strategy authority, so it's
Hmm.
not like a frustration from ignoring their sacral response, but just part of this
Right.
learning thing, it's going to be natural and they can be frustrated. You don't have to fix it. Now, when it comes to the manifesting generator having that anger
Hmm.
piece,
Hmm.
again, don't take it personally. There can be moments where maybe they forgot to inform, or there's just a lot going on. They have different projects. Maybe they move too fast, skip the steps. they're frustrated, they're angry. Don't take it personally. And that's a big one. I mean, that's the biggest one in anything, relationships. Try not to take most of it personally, because really, most of it's not about you
Mm-hmm.
anyhow. I heard a great sidebar. I heard a great way of explaining relationships and law of attraction and people communication issues, people that okay, so it was all this thing like you want to blame someone else for giving you the attitude or whatever, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's this person's fault that I feel this way. But really, it's only the only thing that that person is doing is really kind of reflecting back to you what it is you're giving energetically. In general, we all do this, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so it's your issue if that person is responding to you in that way, because you're the one that's actually feeling and thinking that way. That can be a bit of a mind fuck for people at times.
Yeah.
Let's just be clear
A
about
little
it.
bit.
And I didn't do as great a job explaining it, but I totally get it. And then if you look at the human design side of stuff, well, we say if you're emotionally defined, you're responsible for the energy in the room because you have consistent energy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that certainly applies, right? But then
Yeah.
also, if you're emotionally undefined, well, definitely you are reflecting back what people are giving you all the time.
Yep.
And still, that's your responsibility to be like, hey, this may not be me, this may be them. I need to bring it down a notch or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I just thought that was interesting because that's something you learn in A Course in Miracles too. It's the same thing. It's like, oh, I know it was. It was about being defensive. That's what they were talking about. It was about being defensive. Why someone's being
Mm-hmm.
defensive with you, and well, it's because they're feeling that energy from you. And it says in the Course in Miracle, one of the lessons is like, in my defenselessness my safety lies. And that's always like something that sticks with me. But then you're like, well, what does that mean? Because obviously,
Mm-hmm.
you know, without going through all the 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 lessons and the inner work about it, it sounds like, well, why would I want to be defenselessness? That sounds dangerous, right?
Yeah.
It feels like not safe, but that's where your safety lies. But that's where this is saying that it's like, if you don't have your defenses up, nobody's going to have their defenses up either. Because in relationship like that, and people around you, your family relationships, stuff like that, it's like we tend to forget that we're all communicating on a totally different level
I
besides
mean,
just the words.
everything's a give and take.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I mean, not that I'm religious, but in the Bible, it says do unto others as you would have them do. It's saying,
Mm-hmm.
what you give off is what you're gonna get back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how often have you said to someone, why are you being so defensive when you know yourself you're being defensive? You try to project why are you doing that? I did it last night with your dad, I realized, and then I heard this little talk today and I was like, mm-hmm. Yep, just gotta stop. Sometimes it's so hard not to be like, no, you are. No, you are.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, that was a side note. So don't get offended and take it personally. It's part of their process to occasionally, and people we're all humans. Give everybody a break now and then. Jeez.
Yeah, nobody's perfect.
Yeah. And so also as sacral beings and being in relationship with someone is, or you both are, whatever, trusting your partners or your loved ones or whoever it is, trusting their sacral response, what's right for them, may not be what you want or what's right in the moment or perceive to be right for you in the moment, might feel like it's in conflict. But if they are having a sacral response that is in opposition to maybe what you want in the moment, you've got to honor that's the last thing you want to do for the generator type in your life is to have them override that sacral response just to
Mm-hmm.
make you happy. This is true for anybody in a relationship. You should not be trying to get people to do things they don't want to do. But that sacral response is not logical. It is in the body and it is working on a totally different level than what we understand
Mm-hmm.
intellectually. And a lot of times it doesn't make sense to the sacral being either of why there's this impulse or this response or whatever. And so you've got to trust and honor that in them and also in yourself if you have it as well. And because that is guiding them, their sacral response is guiding them to what is really correct for them. So
Mm-hmm.
that's very, very important to pay attention to. And then also because they are sacral types, you need to support and encourage the daily movement of energy, getting that body moving in some way. Doesn't need to be high intensity, but just doing something around the house, going for
The
a
big
walk, doing
walk.
some gardening, right? Take the dog out a couple times, whatever, yoga, whatever.
Oh, this dog woke me up at 4 o'clock this morning.
Mm.
She had to poop.
Gotta love that 4 a.m., which I hope Presley's the one that takes her out at 4 a.m. He's gonna get up soon, isn't he?
No, I took her out that time because she woke me up.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah. When I tell you, when I opened the bedroom door, she darted to the front door so quickly. I was like, I gotta put my jacket on. You gotta get your harness. Come here. We're running down the stairs. I'm like, I am half awake.
She couldn't even wait for the elevator, huh?
Please stop. No.
Oh,
We
God
take the
bless her.
stairs because it's right by us. Yeah.
Yeah. Bless her old pee picking.
Hey, she woke me up. No accidents in the house. I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Gotta love a little
But
4 flight jog in the morning. Did you go back to bed?
3. Mm,
Mm-hmm. All right.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
My sidebar.
Okay. So another thing for sacral types is that you need to understand the importance of work to them. Generator types like to work. They like to do work. They have workforce, life force energy pulsing in them at all times. And if they love their work, they're going to want to work. If they don't, I guess you won't have this problem because they're not going to want to be at work. You work on that sacral response with them because yeah, if they love what they do and it really lights them up, they're going to want to do a lot of it, and they can, and that's what they're supposed to do, right? So don't get jealous of the job or the career or whatever it is they're doing. It's not that they don't love you, don't want to be around you, you're not interesting enough. It's just there is this need to work and do. I know your face is like, I know this one. I know this one very well.
That one is very hard to, from my side of it, really hard to deal with because he wants to work all the time and it's fine. He likes it. And I know that it's good for him. But then it makes it hard for me to like try to plan things that are not involving work.
Yeah.
Because not only does he like what he does, he is also very busy with it. A lot of demands for it.
Well, that's true.
So
now
it's a struggle for me.
Well, it's okay, but that's where your projector energy helps guide the generator to be like, I get it. You like your work. You like to work. You enjoy your job. However, there are other things in life, and this is something generators and manifesting generators you do have to pay attention to. You can do all the work, but any life has to be a balanced life. There is going to be a balance there, but just understand that, like, I don't want to say work should come first with anybody's life, because relationship should come first in my in my opinion. Relationship with yourself and with others, and then everything else on top of that. But I do think that there is going to be more of this desire for maybe generator time. Now, I'm probably hearing all those manifestors and projectors out there with defined will senders going, oh, no, that's not true. I love to work. I know they love to work too, but we'll talk about that later.
It's different.
Yeah. There are a few differences which really come in really on the manifesting generator side, to be honest. We'll say that generator types can appear a little more fixed, like in the way they do things, because like I said, they're more that slow and steady pace kind of just not plotting, but they're doing their thing and they're building mastery over time.
Consistent. Mm.
Yeah, relatively. Whereas the manifesting generator has this more, multitasking energy. So because they have that connection to the throat center, you good?
Mm-hmm.
You hiccuped a couple times. See if you're going to hiccup again.
No,
Because
sometimes I just
we
have a
have
couple.
the video has one audio track together, so I can't edit out your hiccups while I'm talking. Can't do it.
I think I'm
Okay.
done.
Okay. So like we said, having that initiating energy and having that similarity with the manifestor type of the strategy of informing, they are initiators. So they do have that tapped into that nonverbal creative flow thing too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
when they get impulse, they still have to respond, but then they can go. But so they kind of have to, you've got to also honor not interrupting their flow, because they're going to be in that zone, which is them using their sacral energy in response to get into action fast. And so
Mm-hmm.
same as a manifester, try not to interrupt them if they're in their flow.
Mm-hmm.
Could ask them that yes or no question. Is this a good time? I need to ask you a question. Is this a good time? No. Okay. All right. Bye.
Presley told me that yesterday. He's like, you always come in the worst times when I'm working. He's like, you need to come in and say, is this a good time? I was like, okay, I will start trying to do that.
That's very good. That's very good. Good for him. Good for you. And then honor it.
I'm
Not
trying.
go
I'm going to try very hard.
And then not go, it'll just take a second. It'll just take a second. I just super quick. Okay, or you could say like, well, it is kind of time sensitive, so if you can get back to me in the next 10 minutes, that'd be great. And then let them do it.
Not what I do now, which is just go in there and stand till he addresses me.
Wow, I just had flashbacks to like me trying to sleep when you were a child. Used to say, "Mommy, what happened? I couldn't hear you. Do it again." Are you saying it?
Yes.
You're not whispering? Are you whispering?
Yeah, I'm saying, Mommy.
No, because it was going.
I mean, I was whispering. It was very quiet.
No, it was really quiet because it was like, Mommy. Yeah. So Haley used to do this thing when she was a kid. Oh, she's just a toddler. She's like 2 years old, and she used to suck her thumb, letting everybody know she's beautiful.
I'm not
teeth,
ashamed of it.
and she was a thumb sucker. But she okay, it's a long story, but she liked, while she sucked her thumb, she'd hold this little cotton ball in her hand and she would just like rub it in her hand while she was just a soothing thing. And this child, God bless her, would wake up in the middle of the night and not have the cotton in her hand anymore because it fell out because her hand opened up. And she'd be awake, and instead of just, well, she would get out of bed, instead of getting that and looking at the floor and see where the cotton is, just pick it up and get back in bed. She'd have to come into her mom's room in the middle of the night, stand by her bed like some kind of like scepter
demon
ghost,
child,
and whisper, "Mommy," because she knew she should be waking me up, but she couldn't help herself.
But the thing is, I'm pretty sure I would stand there for a few minutes before I'd say anything.
Oh, you would, because I knew you were there, because I was a very light sleeper, because I had very small
like,
children.
Just go away.
I would. I'd be like, I'm so tired. Can you please? Because I would hear the door open, creak open.
Yeah.
Walk over my room, and I'm trying so hard not to laugh because you're so stinking cute. And then you would,
nightmares.
No, you would wait. Sometimes you would wait a couple minutes, and I'd wait to see if you're gonna leave. And then every time, and then you'd be like, you finally got up the nerve, and you'd be like, yes, I would always get her, take her back to bed. God bless her, love her to death. Oh God! But so I can understand Presley's pain of like you just standing in the doorway.
I apparently haven't outgrown it. Oh man.
Okay.
Hey, he
All
married
right.
me anyways.
Yeah, he did. He's known you a while. He knows what okay. So, all right.
You don't know where we were.
Interrupting. That's what we were talking about.
Ah.
All right. So back on task. So manifesting generators.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good because they can go faster than most. It's okay to give them the freedom to go at their own pace, their own flow, and don't try to like keep up. Like don't ask them to
Mm-hmm.
slow down for you because they can. I mean, within reason,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but for the most part, when they're doing their thing in their projects, learning their way. Because I do have to ask your dad not to slow down, but just to realize that I'm not going to be moving as fast as him. And I don't mean like physically moving, but
Mm-hmm.
just like in the process of things. Sometimes I'm just like, no, we need to. I need to slow this down. Maybe you
Mm-hmm.
don't, but I do. Um, so that's a good thing to remember. So, like I said, if you have these two types living together like us, it's definitely good to have that understanding between you all of you're gonna work at different paces. You're
Mm-hmm.
going
But
to
you have also said, I think there's times where you've like helped him slow down when he actually needed to, right?
yeah, well, to avoid making mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
because yes, because he does have the straight connection from the sacral center to the throat, the 3420, and so he can go very fast, and he knows he can get into action, get something going, blah blah blah. And really, it's only something that's involved me too. Actually, I'd be like, hey, now, wait a minute. Is this part necessary? Yes, we've done
Mm-hmm.
that before many times. But like I said, it's been a relationship saver too to be like okay with seeing that, that's just the way he does things. And a lot of times I do just let him go and know that like I don't know he's going to make mistakes, but I have an idea that he might skip a step or whatever, especially when he gets really excited about something and he gets into it. And he knows it too, though. He really
Mm-hmm.
does. Like
Mm-hmm.
he knows it deep down, so that when it does happen, he's like, ah, well, I should have done this, but I was trying to
He
get this
starts to
done
beat
first.
himself up about it.
And I'm like, well, didn't know it's good, but he learns so much faster of what to do and what not to do. So,
Mm-hmm.
and he's 1-3. So, I mean, he can't help it. He's gonna do it. That's okay. As long as it doesn't cost us a lot of money. It's okay. There have been days it has cost us a lot of money. And hey, but he learns. He learns.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that again. Okay. So, on that note, also for the manifesting generator, multitasking and having lots of projects is really important use of their energy. And so really resist the urge to make them do one thing at a time
Mm-hmm.
or to stick to one thing, especially if they're, looking at career paths or maybe they want side hustles or any of this stuff. Like let them figure it out. If they're trusting their or if they're following and trusting their sacral
Mm-hmm.
response, you need to trust them and their response and just be okay with it. And again, I know we've talked about it. Another big, 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 big effect in your dad and I's relationship to be like, okay, you know what? I don't care. Do all the things that I don't care because it works for you. It doesn't work for
Mm-hmm.
me, but I'm not the one doing it. So, and yeah, it works for him. I don't know
See,
what I
it
can
works
say.
for him, and you understand that it works for him. You're like, it don't work for me,
Yes.
but I know that it works for you.
There you go. There you go. You landed it.
There it is.
I got lost in the off ramp there. I was like, whoa, where am I going with that?
I steered us back there.
Because I'm not really okay with them, but mostly okay.
You understand it, and that helps.
Yes, that helps. And so also, you know, and this is a thing too, when we talked about the not finishing things or the skipping steps,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, it used to be something I judged. I really did of, you're just not paying attention. You were rushing around trying to do it too fast. Like, I did not understand what I understand now. And he really is good at, he's really good at making mistakes. But I meant making mistakes, learning from them and perfecting it
Hmm.
and getting better at it. And then not letting other people make the same mistakes. You know, he is
Yeah.
really good at that. And
If he
it's
makes
annoying.
when he makes mistakes, he makes it once and then he fixes it.
Mostly. I mean, it is annoying though, because we all have this thing in our family that, and this is why I don't like for him to watch me cook,
Ah.
because I'm a good cook. I like to cook.
Oh
I know
yeah.
how to cook.
Hmm. Hmm.
And for a manifesting generator guy to walk up me and plop down and have nothing else to do but watch what I'm doing, it's like you can see the wheels turning between the MG energy and the 1-3 personnel profile. He just, he instantly just wants to make it better, tell you how you could do it faster or do it better.
Hmm. He says, "Well, I wouldn't have done it that way," and you're like,
Oh no, it's, oh, you know what you should do? Oh, oh, you know what you could do? It's like, and I just look at him and I'm just like, that's why I didn't want this kitchen island configured this way where you could sit right there where I'm cooking, trying to tell me what to do all the time. But he means well, you know.
Mhm.
And he's gotten really good at taking the look and just like getting up and going, okay, I'm gonna move over here. Anyways, so that's him. So that's that's the big difference there between the two, is that they're just going to move faster, they're going to skip steps, they're going to need to multitask, they're going to, you know,
Mhm.
do all those things. That the generator is going to work at a different pace necessarily,
Mhm.
but other than that, a lot of the things are pretty much the same. Is
Mhm.
number one, just make sure you're honoring that sacral response of the sacral generator type in your life, and also honoring their response and not trying to get them to override it just to fix your agenda. I'd say that's
Mhm.
probably the biggest ones. Other than that, we can probably get around, but
Mhm.
that's the big one. So I think that's, oh, I also forgot. No, I didn't, because I covered that in the generator part. Obviously, they're manifesting generator. They need to burn energy, and they will.
Mhm.
They can't help it. They just can't help it. So
Mhm.
I do wish your dad did know all this information as well, though, because he only sees his way of operating things. So he does think that everybody else should be moving and doing things the way he is all the time, like at a, you know, a breakneck pace sometimes in all the different projects.
Mhm.
And but you know what? I it's good enough. I can live with it. I can steer him. I know what I know.
Mhm.
Because I will tell you, when he is sometimes in this wintertime, when he doesn't right away have anything to do, like do, you know,
Mhm.
um, it is a hard thing to watch a manifesting generator not have things to do, want to do, get into. You know, it's like you can see it is not a
I
good
know.
use of their energy to just, they just kind of, if they are held back like that or they aren't really engaging, it definitely can.
I mean,
um
I could see it when y'all were out here helping us move because there was a lot where it
that's
just
such a good point.
where we were just. I mean, for a while we had like a
Full
day and a
day.
half almost, yeah, that we were waiting for our moving truck, so we literally didn't have anything to do. So I mean, I felt bad. I could like feel it from him. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
it caused a lot
Mm-hmm.
of friction.
Yeah, it was bad, and I felt bad for him because I knew he wanted to be doing stuff, and to him, it seems like just such a big waste of time to not be doing. That's his big thing. It's a big waste of time, because he could be doing 14 things. And what did we do? We did send him off to run a few errands and go grab.
Mhm.
How many times did he go to the convenience store to get us
Every
Mountain Dew?
morning, because
Had to get out of
they're
there.
like, why didn't you just go to the grocery store? And he's like, well, I figured we're going to the grocery store. We never made it to the grocery store.
Yeah, where you're
So he
you're
would just,
you're non-sacral, and me and Presley just being generators. We're like, let's have some coffee. We can hang out. We can do this, whatever. But yeah, he
yeah.
was like, he was bouncing off the walls. you know?
I know.
And what's funny is he's not a hyperactive type of personality. Like most people describe your dad as like very chill. You know, he's
Mm-hmm.
just very calm, very chill, and he is. But if you know him, he's like he's always doing something.
Always.
But anyways, so that's it.
Yeah. We don't know how to start these things or end them.
I think we covered it. I think we did all
Yeah,
right.
no, that's good.
I hope it wasn't too back and forth for everybody, but I think, like I said, if you've been listening long enough, if you've been reading or paying attention to some of this stuff, you kind of know the similarities. But again, just a reminder that even though we've been talking about the other people in your life, if you are this, sacral type generator, manifesting generator, these are things that you can inform and let your people in your life how they can better support you and
Mm-hmm.
get along a little better with you if they honor these things in you. So 70% of the planet is one of these two types. So there's
So
a lot
many.
out there.
It's a
I
lot.
mean, really, if all the sacrals could just like encourage each other to just, honor that sacral response and not get all bent out of shape when it doesn't work for them, for, what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
we'd all be a lot happier. But doing our part, Haley, we're doing our part now.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll
We'll
get
get
there.
there. But it's so funny because I had the experience the last couple of days of working on something on my website, which I can tell you all about. I probably have already mentioned it, but so I have this new offering on the website where you can get
Mm-hmm.
a recorded human design reading. So it's a video recording. They'll probably be about half hour or so, 30 to 40 minutes, whatever. I talk a bit, but all the information is on the website. But basically, it's just something I decided to offer I still have the
Mm-hmm.
one-to-one readings, but this is, a lot of people are busy. They don't have an hour to spare to get on a Zoom call, and that's fine. There are people that do that, and they like that. They like that live component. But some people just they do want to have their information or their questions answered or their chart explained, but they kind of want to do it on their own time. So it is an offering of the video with an audio file
Mm-hmm.
as well. So you can listen to it, pop it in your
That's
earbuds.
like right up my alley
Yeah.
because a phone call or a video call, oh,
Yeah.
like puts my stomach in a knot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you helped me, honestly, you helped me think about that because it was like, there are certain people not comfortable with that at all, but they do want to have that attention, which I know I did. I do. Nobody was doing stuff like that when I was first learning this stuff. It had to be a
Mm-hmm.
written report, which I'm working on those too, but this was easier to get into action. And I don't remember why I brought that up.
We're talking about your website.
Yeah, but in context with this.
I think maybe the learning, I think you were talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
maybe when you run into a wall.
Okay, I got it. Okay. So I do all my website stuff myself, right? Use WordPress. I built the site, did all that stuff. And getting this product to launch, because everything else is done like through a scheduling app because it's a one-to-one thing. This is the first digital offering where it's just like you pay me, then I deliver. And I could not get it to work. And I knew it was supposed to work. So I was getting so frustrated. And I literally would be like, something would stop me. I had to stop. I literally would just run out of time. Like I had to go to work. And I was like, I just gotta, I could look at it for 2 hours. And
Mm-hmm.
then I come back literally either while I was at work, I had an idea, I come back and oh, my idea worked. But even with you, because you were helping me get
Mm-hmm.
this stuff together too, I literally came back an hour later. I hit another wall like that. I came back, well, maybe not an hour, a couple hours later, did the same things and it worked. So I don't, I was having that awareness this morning. I was like, that was really weird. A couple times that happened. And whether that's generator thing, I'm not sure, or it's just the universe. I don't know what things needed to line up out there for it to work for me. I have no
Mm-hmm.
idea, but it was so weird that in two different instances with things, I've just like come back and then suddenly I didn't do anything different, but this time it's working. So I don't know. But anyways, that was a sidebar. So if you're interested in that, you can check it out on the website under the
Mm-hmm.
top of the page says offerings. You can look at that. All the information's there. So let's wrap this up, Haley. You have been talking so much. So
much. So good. So good.
that was awkward. uh, laugh a little bit too long. All right.
I
Well,
didn't think so.
you have a good rest of your day, night here, day there, and I'll talk to you soon, and everybody else
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
So have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
You made it all the way to the end of today's episode, so you must have liked what you heard. If you did, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode, and perhaps leave us a good review. And if you know someone who wants to dig into all things human design with us, make sure you share the Human Design Hive podcast with them. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks for listening.